This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of the 007 novel From Russia with Love. Do apologize if I accidentally mix up some names because I've currently read through like 4 James Bond novels over the last week, so I might just accidentally say the name of another one accidentally, but I do know what I'm talking about for the plot. So, going into it, honestly, this was a really good novel. Overall, I think at the beginning it's just really weird where it's a book where James Bond doesn't even come in until like the first third of it is over, where the first third is literally just setting up everything in the Soviet Union with Smersh and them planning to take him down. And yeah, honestly, it does get, interesting towards the end of that, but it ultimately does feel like they're setting up the main physical antagonist of this up for just a little too much time where he gets killed pretty quickly in the train. And honestly, just with it, everything in there was pretty solid. The part at the end where it's basically Bond has to go and has to find a way out of this death situation is interesting. And this entire thing being set as a trap for him was pretty cool to see, but just going through it, I do think that it did feel a little like Bond got away with it pretty spectacularly, and he probably should have died in that train, but I'm fine looking past that. Just looking at some other things here, it was honestly just super, super cool to see really everything that was going on as James Bond is basically walking into something that he knows is a trap in some way, but thinks that, he's going to be able to get through it and he wants to go and see it through to the end. And when he gets to the end, it's interesting that there's the fact that this was at least intended initially to be the final James Bond novel because at the end the ending is left ambiguous, although it is highly likely assumed if you didn't know there was more books after this that James Bond dies at the end of this. And it's even said in the next book that it's basically a miracle he survived and probably should be dead. So there's that, and it's pretty interesting just going through it. James Bond it was just really interesting in this. I think that there was a lot of it was fun to see him in this situation where he was basically in a trap and knew at least partially it was a trap, but thought the information was too valuable to get and nearly died at the end. So yeah, I think this would be a nice, satisfying conclusion to him if this was the final novel, but I am glad things do continue because well, these first ones have been good, and yeah, I've hit a few duds in terms of ones I've read after, but I've also hit one that I really, really enjoyed. But it'll still be another like week or two before I talk about that, since I do have a few more novels to talk about before that. But yeah, honestly, it's a really solid book, definitely interesting, and it is the last one where he really goes up against Smersh as an organization. There's a few times after this where they do appear, but after that, Spectre takes over as the antagonist, and the one interesting thing from this is that Smersh was a real organization. I honestly, well, one, don't know my Cold War history. That's obvious to you by the fact, but also it just sounded like one of the most kind of like fake and made up names in this and was just the most unrealistic part of it, but I guess that just is true about how sometimes the fact is just a lot more strange than fiction, and yeah, honestly, it was something that just seemed so fake to me, but was like genuinely surprised to learn that was the name of a real organization. But yeah, honestly, it's super interesting. They do serve as a great antagonist in this, and I really did enjoy my time with the book. And yeah, as I said, this is the last time they really appear as a major antagonist, but still are done really well. So yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think. Please leave me in the comments, and I'll see you all next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.